All right, we back at it. Homegrown Radio. Chuck Dizzle, DJ Head. A friend, a homegrown homie. Surprisingly, this is his first time. You know what I'm saying?
For real?
Yeah, on the show. We've been friends. We've been
Chuck
fans.
don't fuck with you.
Nah, don't fuck like that. All right, the homie CALMATIC is here, man. Welcome.
What's up, man?
Welcome.
It's cool to be on the other side of the camera.
Right.
For once, I filmed like 5 of y'all interviews with other artists, but I'm here.
Man, you here as a guest. Now here's the thing, right? Okay.
I already know this nigga about that.
Here we go.
I'm not even gonna say nothing crazy. I just want to say publicly that, now that we got the cameras on and everything, that I'm really proud of you. I'm really happy for you.
Don't say it like it's just you. We
Well,
proud of you.
I ain't speaking for niggas with hair.
Because he jealous over here.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like we're as a collective.
Yeah.
Lupe is here, homegrown. Everybody, we're proud of you. We happy for you.
Man, appreciate that.
And I think that it's really, really fucking dope to see one of us. I just say it like that. One of us be in the position that you in. Especially when the announcement went out. We'll get to all the particulars, but when the announcement went out about about House Party.
Yeah.
That shit was just like, wow. I think I remember hitting you like, wow. Like I think I was more excited than you. But it was just like, I feel like whenever one of us get in these rooms and get in these doors that wasn't available to us, I know it's on some throw the rope back type shit. And you always did reach back to us, so we appreciate you.
Nah, likewise. And it's weird because it's like, as far as like throwing the rope back, it's like, it's all I know. You know what I'm saying? So when I need certain characters in my movies, like I'm not trying to find like the next top actor. That's like, I know niggas that can play that role, you know what I'm saying? So I'm reaching back to, people that I knew in the past and people on Instagram and people in the hood and, just trying to, put them on that platform. So it's fun, bro.
You've been doing this shit how long?
Let's see, when did I start? I started doing videos in 2010, 2011.
Yo, Wikipedia says 2008.
Yeah.
2008. Yeah, that's probably when I started. That's when I got my camera.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you got your camera.
That's when I got my camera. He said that's when I was rapping.
Yeah, you was rapping before, right?
Yeah, I was rapping. So that's kind of how I got started. Basically, like I was rapping and making beats, and then I just happened to be like the tech dude, like with all the homies I was making music with. I just so happened to be making music with like Overdoz and Anderson .Paak and Casey Veggies and Tyler.
That's how I remember him. That was my introduction. It was who's the dude that's doing these videos for Overdoz? And that was my introduction to Overdoz. I'm like, this is freaking fire, man. And for the people that don't really understand, man, you have a certain aesthetic in the way you paint Los Angeles. It's even now, but back then, that's what kind of like, I can speak for a lot of people. That's what captured our eyes. It was like, documenting,
telling our story,
telling our story, but doing it in a certain way where it felt warm. It felt like us, and it felt like somebody that was behind the camera that really kind of knew, our story. So for me, when I saw that, at the time when Homegrown was at the apartment, trying to discover new artists and things of that nature, when Overdoz came out, I'm like, who's doing the visuals? And that was my introduction to CALMATIC at that point. So, but you're saying, but I do want to get into the rapping shit because a lot of people may not know that side of you.
He like, why you gonna do this?
No, at this point I've accepted it. I try to keep it on the low, but
are there any songs that CALMATIC has? Are there anything that's still uploaded on old YouTube?
You got rid of all that shit.
No, it's I got some shit on Bandcamp that still get checks every now and then. Like every now and then I get like $8, like a little $8 like PayPal payment. You know what I'm saying? And there's some shit on YouTube, but it wasn't under CALMATIC.
I was gonna say, what did you go by?
I'm not saying that. I know niggas gonna be in the comments like, but you know what I'm saying? I'll let everybody, discover it on their own.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something I'm not ashamed of, but it's something I'm not trying to unearth.
I was about to say, why not take it down?
Because it's cool. Like it's not weak, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I still
don't have nothing.
I got bars. Like if you want to like discover it, like you're gonna be like in for a treat because like it's funny because me and C-San C-San, he's like writing on Insecure and like he's doing film now. We always laugh. We like, these niggas don't know that we can out rap everybody or like we could at least like be in the cypher and like hold our own.
So when you was rapping, did you said it wasn't weak?
No, hell no.
Do you remember any of your bars?
Yeah, but I'm not about to rap.
You're not gonna catch me like that.
I remember everything, bro. I got a whole mixtape.
Just give me one bar.
I
Just
can't.
say it. You don't gotta rap it. Just
no.
What's the hardest bar you ever wrote?
I got a lot, bro.
Give me one.
I can't even. Let me think. Nah, I can't even.
One of the hardest bars you ever wrote.
I can't. I feel like no matter how hard it is, if I say it, it's gonna
not
be.
gonna come out the same way.
They gonna wear your ass.
All right, give us a name. Since you can't tell us the artist name, what was one of the names of your song?
I can't do that either. I tell you this though, I'm on a Casey Veggies album. Like I'm on it.
Okay.
An album that's on DSP right now?
That's on DSPs, right? I'm on it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I got beats on it because I produced too, so it wasn't just rap. Mm-hmm. So that was back then.
So when you go,
how did you make that transition? Obviously, picking up the camera. What was the thing that made you say, you know what, because at that point you do have to kind of sacrifice.
Yeah.
So for you, what was it that said, you know what, let me get more on the visual side and kind of leave the rapping and making beats behind?
It's an interesting story, bro. It's kind of a long story, but I think it's interesting, right? So, like I said, I was the tech dude, right? So like while everybody was rapping, I was the one that was like uploading their music to MySpace and like designing the MySpace pages, doing the HTML code, and I did all that shit, right? And so my boy, we was like, yo, let's start a business. Like let's start doing photo shoots and album covers and MySpace designs. And we bought a camera. So I did Dom Kennedy's first album cover. I did Casey Veggie's first album cover. I filmed Tyler's first show, like when he first performed. And so, basically I had this camera, I had all my equipment, and this is just photos, not video. And then one day I went home, somebody broke in my crib, stole everything.
Your
Stole
camera gone.
Speakers, computer. Like I can't do nothing. I can't make beats. I can't do nothing. And so my mom was like, we got renter's insurance, right? And I was like, yeah. She was like, so what kind of camera did you have? And I was like, I just had like a little Canon Rebel.
She's like, no. What kind of camera did you?
She was like, what kind of camera did you have? And I was like, oh, so instead of telling her I had like a little Canon Rebel, I told her I had a Canon 7D that just came out.
Facts.
Instead of telling her I had a Dell that could barely hold a charge, I told her I had a MacBook
Pro.
Yeah. 17-inch. You know what I'm saying?
17-inch. Yeah.
Extra hard drive storage,
yeah.
right? So now I'm going back to the studio with everybody. And now I'm filming them. So like I literally remember the first day I got my camera, I went to Overdoz house and I was just like in their little back room just filming them. And then we put a video out like the next day. And so I was like, this is dope. Like, cause I've always been into tech and how things work. So I literally was just like, let me just film these dudes, figure it out on YouTube, how to make a video, how to upload it. Like my first video I ever uploaded was like 99 gigabytes. Like I don't know how I saved it. I saved it in a crazy way to where I couldn't even export it. Like it was
PB shaking.
Exactly.
No, for context, let them know what year this is.
This is 2008, 2009, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I think I was exporting each frame at like the highest rate, and so I had to go on YouTube like how to export a video.
Right.
And next thing you know, every day I went Overdose, and I'm just kind of using them as my guinea pigs, and I don't want to say guinea pig because that feels like I was using them, but like I think we benefited from each other. Like I was able to kind of work on my craft as a filmmaker and just like go to their house like, yo, let's go over here, let's just go film some crazy shit. And at the same time, they were getting like top-notch videos at the time, so we kind of mutually, helped each other out, and we all elevated at the same time.
Now you talking about the gigabytes. I want to just have a brief nerd.
Because he a tech. Everything that you described, he was doing that at the apartment. So like when I didn't know what was going on, he was like, man, look, plug this in over here. I'm like, all right, cool.
He's an analog nigga. So you know what I'm saying? But okay, so the software you was editing on at the time was what?
So keep in mind,
this for all other filmmakers.
I had a Dell. Right, so I wasn't a laptop.
Okay,
but I wasn't doing video, right? But then when I got my MacBook, I was editing in iMovie. Damn. And not the new iMovie. That's like Final Cut, the old one. You know what I'm saying? So even like the old Kendrick stuff I did, that was all done in iMovie, color corrected and everything.
For real?
Yeah. And it was a simple like process, but like, because even my videos back then had like a different texture than everybody else's videos, because I would just play with the color wheel and like give it like a nostalgic feel, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of separated myself, right off the cuff with just my coloring and like how vibrant it was and how, colorful everything felt. So, that was my secret weapon. I think like I didn't start using like Final Cut and started editing the proper way until like we started getting budgets and I could like really, tap in that way.
So so the Kendrick shit you edited in iMovie, the Overdose shit you was edited in iMovie.
All the Overdose shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
See, that's some history right there.
Yeah.
So then, okay. So as an editor now, I want to stay at that in this time frame. But as an editor now, what do you choose to edit on? Just
So I use Adobe Premiere. Like Premiere is what I use to edit. And I don't edit my movies, I don't edit my commercials, but all the music videos I do, I edit. And it's just like, it kind of goes back to me doing music. Like I think I was more of a producer than I was a rapper. So even how I edit, I kind of edit as if I'm making a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like when I chop up the edits, I don't just chop them like on every beat. I'm like, on some Dilla off beat, on beat type shit where it's just like those. Like I have like these
You're not
silent,
quantizing it.
Yeah, but I also have like a
quantize, whatever. I told you I'm not cutting it.
he say quantize it.
quantize.
Yeah, so it's like it ends up being this thing where there's like this silent beat that's a visual beat, right? So it may not cut on the beat, but it might cut in between. But your brain feels it the same way it would feel like an offbeat,
like on
but
the
on
swing.
beat drum. Yeah, swing tempo to it. And so that's kind of how I approach filmmaking as a whole. It's just like it still comes back to music. Like I tell people sometimes like I'm not really like a filmmaker. I'm a producer or a hip hop head or whatever you want to call it that just so happens to be making film right now. You know what I'm saying? So
do you so when you first start, because I saw something you posted, I remember seeing you with it. You had what is that? I always want to know, what is that thing, that fake ass camera? It's just a lens, but all the directors look through it.
Oh, I forget what it's called.
You don't even know.
I should know what it's called, but but basically it's the lens, so I can see what it's gonna look like without having a big ass camera. You know what I'm saying? So it's just literally like the lens only, and then you can look through the lens.
This how I know I could be successful. He don't even know what the fuck.
I should know what it's called.
That's crazy.
But to be honest, if you got a good DP, like you don't really need to use that. Like I feel like that's like the thing that people use to like take a picture.
Yeah.
It's like when they in the studio and they leaning on the
board
trying to turn it up. You know what I mean?
Like
that's kind of what that is. But this last film I did, I had a really dope DP, Maddox, and he would like he would make sure that we would collab on every size and every angle. So whenever he would get his shot, he would hand me the thingy. And then
the reason
I would look through that.
The reason why I brought it up is because I saw you posted a duality picture. It was that you holding the thingy.
Oh yeah.
And then a picture of you young holding it like a little. It looked like a little, almost like a disposable camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. But I do remember the rapping thing. But so I didn't know, like, when did you actually fall in love with the camera? Was it after you got robbed?
Yeah. Because I think like it's funny you mentioned that picture because my grandmother, that was my grandma's camera. And she was a photographer. Like she was a photographer almost until she passed away. You know what I'm saying? Like at like 80, she was like in her little club. You know, they be having the little clubs. Yeah. She was like the photographer. You know what I'm saying? And so I always grew up with like, cameras around. She had them old school Polaroids. Shit, she was the first person I knew with a laptop. You know what I'm saying? My grandma was like really into tech, and so I always just liked, the technology around it and like seeing how things were made, watching making the video, looking at behind the scenes photos. Like I love like behind the scenes. And so, I don't know what like brought me to a camera, to be honest. I really don't know. I honestly haven't even really sat and thought about that, but I just felt like it felt like the next step after doing photos. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like when I saw music videos, I was like, man, I could do that. Like I don't know how I'm gonna get a camera, but I could probably do that.
As a video, do you like? Because I always talk to even PB, who, shout out to PB, he does all of our visuals.
Yeah.
But like I always ask people who do it, like, are you like editing more or you like shooting more?
Man, that's a good question. It depends on the project. Like if it's like a dope ass video that's like a dope artist where every take is like a beautiful performance and they on point, I love editing. You know what I'm saying? But if it's like a trash, performance and I got to find a way to make it work, then I hate it. You know what I'm saying? But
pick one to do for the rest of your life.
Ooh, I'm shooting. For sure.
Unless somebody else edit.
Yeah, because it depends on
the project. Because they can fuck your shot up, though.
Yeah.
In the editing
that
room.
Part. Yeah.
I feel like the editor is the one who controls the narrative.
Yeah, but then also the higher you get up, you know, like when it comes to like commercials and these films, it's like you don't have control over the edit like you want to, and you gotta try everything. So if some higher up come and say, yo, I want to see it this way, you have to show them, even if you don't like it. You gotta at least show them what it looked like so they can say no. You know what I'm saying? And like that's the part of the editing I'm not fucking with at all. Yeah.
Is that one of the biggest like challenges for you as you know somebody as a you call yourself a producer, which makes a lot of sense. So in the world of film or you know whatever the case may be, was that challenging for you to go from music videos to commercials and you know to now movies? Like what was the challenges for you to actually cross over from one realm to the next?
I mean, it's interesting because I think like even though those things are all tying together, you know, music video people don't know shit about commercials. Commercial people don't know shit about movies, and you would think they all knew what everything was, but it's so disconnected. And so, going into a movie, I'm thinking like, oh, everyone is just like super experienced and knows everything, but they never shot a music video. They never been on set for like 20 hours trying to get something right. They never had to like make something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I think like I realized right away that I had a lot more experience than I thought. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's cakewalk.
Yeah,
cool.
I've been through the trenches. I've had to go like find a location real quick and shoot it and get out of there. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, there's all these like rules and, you know, laws literally with film and commercials. But, you know, I always try to like, you know, bring my music video side to that. Vice versa, you know, I hadn't done a music video in a while, and I just, you know, did this video with Kendrick, and I realized I was approaching it as if it was a film for the first time. So I think that allowed me to be a lot more efficient because we didn't have that much time. And in film, you got to know what you're doing when you go in, so you can get in, get out, and you know get what you need. So, you know, it all intertwines, but it's those are three separate industries.
Now you talked about Chuck asked you about crossing over from one to one to the next, right? The Entrepreneur record, Pharrell and Jay-Z, right?
Yeah.
And because you directed that video.
Yep.
And when I saw that shit, I think low key it was almost like a celebration in the city.
Yeah, bro.
I know, because I don't know what your vantage point was, but I remember in like us, we felt like it was our video, and we didn't have nothing to do with it. Niggas ain't in the video, like we just felt like it was like this. We was celebrating like it was us. Like again, when somebody gets those looks, and I think this was during quarantine.
Yeah, it was like late 2020 maybe.
It was during COVID.
Maybe early 2021. I don't remember exactly.
It was like 2020, I think.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 years ago, but it was like in the COVID shit.
Yeah.
And so the way it was just shot like, it was a bunch of solo shots. It wasn't like hella crowds. You had, you know, Issa Rae, and you had all these different people like
Simply Wholesome.
Bro, it was some LA shit in that video. Right. And I'm like, what the fuck this got to do with Pharrell and Jay-Z? But it was hard though.
Yeah.
So I just felt like you even took that opportunity. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I never told you this before, but I felt like I was watching them like,
I already know what you about to say.
Oh, this nigga not gonna ever work again.
Oh.
He did some LA shit
right
with a nigga from Virginia and a nigga from Brooklyn, and did some LA shit. So I just thought it was bold. I don't know if they gave you the creative freedom. I always wanted to ask you about that.
It's interesting, man, because I remember when we set out to do the video, Pharrell wanted to like find like black entrepreneurs around the world. Like obviously it's a bunch of LA people, but we got people in Japan, we got people in Paris, Virginia, you know what I'm saying? But it's so funny, when I started making the list of like black owned businesses, I was thinking about people I knew, and I'm like, shit, Chase, he got a black owned coffee shop in Leimert Park. Haroon,
yep.
My best friend, my best man in my wedding, he owns like one of the top fried chicken places in the world, damn near Honey Kettle Fried Chicken.
Facts.
So why not put them in there? You know what I'm saying? Just thinking about, you know, the neighbor skate shop, all those, you know, people that are from LA. I think one thing we got to realize, and we probably don't, is like we're in Los Angeles, California, bro. Like this is like the most popular place in the world. So if we're like the top here, then we probably are the top in the world. And so, you know, I sent him the list like, yo, these are my entrepreneurs. Like, what y'all think? And he was like, yeah.
Right.
So
wait. Okay. Because you just blew past. You said when we set out to do the video, Pharrell wanted. Okay, how the fuck did you get on the phone with Pharrell?
Well, I mean, going back to the Overdose days when Overdose was like bubbling,
yeah.
You know, Pharrell tried to sign Overdose, and that's when I remember the day we met him. he was like, yo, like, who does the videos? And I was like,
Yeah.
and then, we kind of developed a relationship from there. Like I did like a small video for that movie he did, the Dope movie.
Mm-hmm.
I did a video for the soundtrack, and we always been like on email, like, oh, write a treatment for this, and we just never actually did anything. But then they called for that, and it was a no-brainer. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it.
That's fire. So when
Yeah.
you sent Pharrell the list of all of the, I mean, it was a lot of different entrepreneurs from all over the world, but
and,
it was,
and we couldn't travel either, right? So
Right.
so that's the other thing. It's like I can go down the street, simply host them right across the street from my house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So was that like you with a camera, or was that like a full production?
It was a small production. It wasn't like guerrilla style, but we had a really good documentarian team that does that. Damn near got. Oh no, they actually won an Oscar for documentaries, and we had him as our camera guy, and we just went around LA and was just guerrilla style. And then we had like a separate crew in like New York and other places to film that stuff.
And that's something that you edited yourself.
Yes. Well, actually, it was a collaboration with another editor, a guy named Grayson, who also edited the last Kendrick video I did. But for the most part, it was
Collaborative.
Yeah.
That shit's fire, bro.
I know it had to be a full circle moment to get with Kendrick and do Rich Spirit, man, because it's like you've talked about the early days from the even early, like the Monster freestyle, to Cut You Off, things are like that, to now like what are those conversations now when you guys link up for this video, like you guys see each other and obviously work. Did he reach out to you? Did how was that communication and you guys on set?
I mean, it's so funny because I think the last video I did before this it might have been Cut You Off, right? Which was it was Monster Freestyle, which was like 2011 maybe, you know what I'm saying? And ever since then it was like Kendrick is you know what I'm saying? But I always kept in contact with Dave, and every album I'm like, yo man, you need a treatment, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like listening to the album, trying to think about what videos can I do, and writing treatments, and things didn't line up. But this time around, I'm just kind of chilling, doing my own thing, and they reached out. And so I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And I think, my biggest takeaway from doing that video was like, man, like I said, I hadn't seen Kendrick since, 2011, but I see him every day on Instagram, and I see it, you kind of, put him, not put him on a pedestal, but you kind of look at him like, damn, this nigga Kendrick is on, he's like glowed up, all this. And I think like, when we were like, on set and like actually filming and like in between takes, I would like look at him and I'm like, damn, that's the same Kendrick from 2011. Like he's not different.
Yeah, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same, and it kind of motivated me. Like it ain't like all of a sudden. I mean, even looking at y'all right now, I'm tripping because it's like y'all look exactly the same as I remember seeing y'all from the beginning. But we elevated, and I think people think that you have to like go through some kind of whatever that shit is, metamorphosis to kind of
look. I got quantitized. I got quantitized. You got
whatever you said.
Yeah, people think you got to transform.
There you go.
There we go.
into this like crazy like locked in person, and not to say he's not locked in, because clearly he is locked in, but it's not like he changed his whole everything to get to where he's at now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna just come out and ask, because I'm sure there's other people like me. Explain the Rich Spirit video to me. Explain this shit, because I don't know what the fuck was going on. He was talking to a nigga, the line was cut, like he was doing ballet, and then it was like,
well, it break down the treatment that you wrote, right? And then, what came to fruition, and, I guess.
It's so funny because people be hitting me on Instagram and Twitter all the time is, explain it, do a video. And I'm like, no, I got to maintain the mystery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got to, be on my PG lane, you know what I'm saying? Right. But, I think like it does have something to do with like battling your demons, right? Mm-hmm. And like how you show up every day to battle that demon, right? And so I think what we see, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but what we see is like 3 to 4 different times where, it's like, all right, this is me approaching my demon this way. Mm-hmm. No, that didn't work. I'm approaching my demon this way. Oh, that didn't work.
Gotcha.
And I'm doing it this way. And I think that worked, but then right when I think it worked, then something else happens. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what you going to do now when that last thing didn't work? And that might be even more confusing.
Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So what kind of drugs were you on when you wrote the treatment? Like, were you on some hallucinogens? You was
I
on.
was on that, that water, man. You know?
Okay, so when you wrote so you clearly came up with a treatment and you
Yeah.
presented it, right?
Yeah.
So when you said, I mean, obviously we all listened to. That's my favorite song of the year, Rich
For
Spirit.
sure.
But last year, we're in the new year. Last year is my favorite song. But when you listen to the album like we all did, is that something? Is that a song you already gravitated towards initially, like me, or was it something you wrote treatments for multiple records?
No, I mean that song was definitely one of my favorite songs on the album, but I didn't look at it visually. Like there's a couple other songs where I was like, yo, I gotta do a video for this one. And so when I got the call to do that, I had to really like, think about it. I actually wrote I wrote 2 treatments for it. I also wrote a treatment for the song with him and Blast too. You know what I'm saying?
Die Hard.
Yeah, that we didn't get a chance, that they liked, but we didn't get a chance to do it because of timing. And it was a whole completely different, concept. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just, I think that album is about him battling his demons, right? And I think like, in the most, kind of stand to the theme of like what Kendrick's been doing lately, and like, it's not too on point, it's not too on the nose, and finding ways to make it abstract, like that's the art. Like it's still art, you know what I'm saying?
So but I'm saying when you wrote the treatment,
Yeah.
and you see you wrote 2 treatments for that song.
Yeah.
Or you wrote 2 treatments for Rich Spirit.
Yep.
Okay, so the other one, you didn't like it, or they didn't.
Yeah,
y'all just didn't agree on it.
Yeah, I think I wrote it, and I kind of, it was just like it was even more vague idea that just
too abstract.
Yeah, too abstract. Yeah, and it's like, all right, let's just do this. You know,
like the nigga sitting in a palm tree eating in elote or something.
Or like the other.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why my nigga in a palm tree eating elote?
But it's so funny. It's so funny how like you look at it that way, but then I get messages from people from Europe, and it's like, oh, the video is so beautiful, the way he's dancing, and it's like, yeah, like they're not lying. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how they feel, and I think like that's something that Kendrick probably recognized a long time ago. That, like,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I'm not saying it's this limited, but we're not trying to please just like LA niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's for everybody. It's world art. You know what I mean? At this point.
I totally get it.
But there's still themes in there that we could appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Being from where we from.
No, I definitely appreciate that. I just went and saw. I wish I could remember the artist name, but I went to the museum downtown, and Henry Taylor. I went and looked at Henry Taylor.
A real one, bro.
I went and looked at Henry Taylor's exhibit.
Yep.
And it was dope to me. To what you're saying is it'll be like a crazy abstract piece, and it'll be like a little nigga reference.
Literally.
Like, it'll be like a box of cornbread on the counter.
Yep. You gotta follow him on Twitter. He a real one like
For
that,
real?
bro. He an older cat, but he be cussing and like filming himself, being in the paint studio. Like, this shit hard.
Bro,
like,
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Somebody else put me on it, and I was like, I just went to check it out. Like, all right, let me just see what's going on. So to what you're saying is exactly on point.
Yeah.
It was like, and I was walking through there, and one of the ladies who worked there, she was a black lady. She was like, well, she's like, hey, she didn't want to disrupt the white people. She's like, hey, what you think about all this?
Yeah.
I'm like, what you mean? She's like, I just am always curious, like, what we think about this. I'm like, this shit kind of interesting in a weird way, because it'd be like it'd be like a whole picture of an abstract painting, and then it'd be a box of grits.
100%.
Just sitting there, and it's like, what the fuck is that? It's a nod to us.
You bro, and like, not to like bring it all full circle, but like that's kind of how I approach film, right? Like just to take it back to the music thing, like I feel like I sample like my life and like my surroundings, and I like represent them in the form of film. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if it's a scene where it's somebody in the studio playing beats, I know who to call. You know what I'm saying? To be in that scene. Or when we have to pick props and like pick locations, like I know the perfect house on 4th Ave. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, yeah, let's use that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even that is, and those things like, even it's just like the skin tone of the actors and like the jewelry they wear and the color palettes, those are all like references that we have of just like the best things about life, the best things about LA, like the swap meet, you know what I mean?
Culture.
Like when I did Old Town Road, like, when he got his like brand new cowboy suit, he got it from the swap meet.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we recreated the Slauson swap meet. You know what I'm saying?
It's something very small that a lot of people probably didn't catch. And again, it's only LA, right? I love how in that video, Watts Homie Quan was filming in the front.
Yeah, exactly. And it's Watts Homie Quan.
Yeah.
It's like that's
Stuff
what he
like
do.
that is
you know
like not everybody else is gonna catch, but I appreciate that you.
It's that type of shit.
Little subtle details. Now we got to talk about that, because as you sit here and talk about us elevating, you've elevated so much as well, man, and getting a Grammy, bro. Like,
Man,
come on, we got to experience that.
that's crazy.
What was on your mind when you found out? Did you think it was gonna get to that level? Like,
where were you? Where were you when you first found out about the nom?
Man, I don't know where I was, but I knew we was getting nominated.
Oh, you knew already?
No, I'm just saying, just like based on like the song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny because like when we were filming the video, like it was like maybe like the first week that it was #1. Like it was like kind of new still, but we was filming next to an elementary school, and like at recess, the kids was playing, the teachers was playing the song for the kids, and we was like, oh, this is about to be, you know what I'm saying, nuts. But once the video came out, I was nervous, to be honest. You could ask a few people. I was like, man, I don't know if this gonna really work. It's cool.
What was your reservations though? Like, what were you thinking at the time?
That like the references, I was like you said, I thought like people wouldn't get it. You know what I mean? Or it's too on the nose. You know what I mean? You got them line dancing and all that. But my goal for that video was like, because I remember at the time, they sent me the song, right? I just got back from my honeymoon, so I was like off for like 2 months. And I was like, man, I need to just write this treatment just so I can get back in the flow. And they sent me the song, and I literally responded to them, is this a joke? like literally, I got the email. I need to like frame the email. And they was like, no, this is the new song. And I'm like, all right, cool, let me just write it. And to me, based on the song, I was like, man, this feels like an episode of Atlanta. Like, what would it feel like if like, all of a sudden a cowboy from the past just like showed up in Atlanta, and they had to figure out how to like talk to him, and like, and they was like playing with his horse and like trying to race the horse with the Impala, you know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff. So that's what I wrote the treatment as. I was like, this is it. I'm not trying to make this like super poppy or whatever. And they liked it. And that's what we did.
So okay. Had you heard the song before they sent it to you?
Never. It was weird timing because like when they sent it to me, it had like just came out, and then like I think like the day after I wrote the treatment, the remix came out with Billy Ray Cyrus. So that's like when it really took off, and it was the whole controversy, the country shit.
I thought that was so gangster, Billy Ray Cyrus, to jump on that song with that boy, like with that guy. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I just don't. You don't really see a lot of. I mean, I'm being honest. You don't really see a lot of white people like jump in fights like that.
Yeah,
you just don't see that.
Real one, man. He was cool too.
And
man.
You see Michael Rappaport. You see them type of motherfuckers. They get their shit off, but like Billy Ray Cyrus ain't never, to my knowledge, ain't never did nothing to nobody. And for him to jump on that song with Lil Nas X was just, I was like, damn, I fuck with him.
Yeah.
It made me want to. I don't fuck with the music like that, but I made me want to like support him in some kind of way. Yep. And so when y'all did the video, what was the energy like on set? Was it like a celebrational thing? Was it a joyous? Because the record hadn't peaked yet.
Yeah, it hadn't peaked yet. It was still early, and it's funny because it was Nas's first time being in front of a camera. He hadn't even performed the song yet, right? So I remember we filmed like on the Thursday and a Friday, and then we had to pick back up on the Monday. And so on Thursday and Friday, he was nervous. He was just like, I remember him like talking to me in between takes, like, is it cool? Like, do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, bro, you straight. And then that Saturday, he performed at Stagecoach. And that was his first time ever performing a song.
He got taste.
So on Monday, he came back to the set. He had a joint in his mouth. He was like, what's up? He was like, what we doing, Cal? What's good?
Yeah.
I'm lit now. Like, I get it now.
I
see how this works. And like, he started performing, and like, he turned into like the Lil Nas that we learned to know. You know what I'm saying? So, I think the cool thing about him though is like, even when we were filming, he was still in his like TikTok mind. He was like, yo, we should make this song 5 seconds because I can make this into a clip, or we should make this part 5 seconds so I can make it into a clip, and I can retweet it and it can go viral.
Kind of introducing you to things that you probably weren't even too familiar with.
Like, he knew the formula, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was dope, and then to win a Grammy, I thought it was gonna be like, MTV Video of the Year. I got like Best Direction, which is still just as good.
Right.
But
hell yeah.
But the Grammy was like, man, like, this is dope. Like, I never thought I'd have a Grammy.
Right.
Best
video.
And I remember like the year before, Childish Gambino had won, and I remember thinking to myself, I was bitter, and I was like, man, the only reason why he won is because that song is so big. And then next year, literally the biggest song ever. You know what I'm saying? And so, it was all good.
So during your Grammy speech, you thank your parents for supporting your creativity.
Damn, I forgot what my speech was.
Did you write a speech?
I don't think so, bro.
Okay, so during your Grammy speech, you got up there. Shout out to Lil Nas X and everybody that joined you on stage.
Yeah.
I thought that was dope. But during your Grammy speech, you thanked your parents for supporting your creativity. That was the first thing out your mouth.
Yeah.
I want to thank my parents for supporting my creativity, and I want you to, because you're a dad, I want you to talk to the importance of that, because a lot of us creatives come up without the support of our parents because they be worried. They want us to get stable jobs. They want us
to. I got a story, man.
Go ahead.
It's funny because obviously my mom helped me get my camera, so my dad and my mom always believed in me, but my dad he definitely didn't give me a hard time, but he definitely was reminding me like, all right, nigga, you need to put this shit together.
You gotta start making some money around this.
And it's funny because so every morning he would go to work and my room was right by the back door. So if I'm on my computer, he could see me on the way out. So it'd be like 7 a.m. He going to work. I'm editing the video, and then during the day I'm going out networking, filming, and then I come back home around 5 and I'm editing again. And he come back in the door and he's like, "You've been sitting here all day on this computer." You know what I'm saying? And he made me apply at the post office. So I had to go down there. I had to apply. I went through the whole process. And for some reason, bro, I failed the driving test.
What?
I don't even know how I failed.
Well,
they didn't
you have to pass in order to not fail. So you don't. What do you mean you don't know how you failed?
I'm just saying I don't know what I did. I don't remember doing no weird moving violation or nothing. But I didn't get the job, and he was mad. You know what I'm saying? And I had to remind him like, yo, I'm doing this video thing, and even still, he was like, all right, well, you can still get a job. But it just like right at that moment is like where things kind of took off. That's like when Overdoz got signed, and it was just like, we had budgets so I could actually get paid to do the videos. Yeah. But it was a good, almost a year where every day he would just see me and he was just like, man.
Sitting there knocking on the window like, hey!
Seriously, come out here and cut
I'm going
this
out here to work,
grass.
busting my ass.
Yeah, man, yeah.
You sitting here on this laptop.
Yeah, man. So, I definitely could have done both, but I'm glad I didn't get the job. I probably would be a postman right now, just like.
Shout out to all the posts.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that, but
So speak to that moment when they finally figured out, like, oh, okay, you can actually support yourself. Oh, okay, it's actually working, because I think that's important too. Is like now you finally convince them and they see it for themselves versus you having to tell them, man, no, so and so got signed. This is what was that moment that they realized, like, this was it a video they saw on TV or what was it?
That's funny you said. It was Overdoz had a video on 106 in Park.
Oh.
And it was on TV, and I remember TiVo in it, and as soon as they got home, playing it for him, look, I'm they had my name at the bottom. Then I had a video on MTV Jams a couple of weeks later, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that was the moment where they felt more comfortable about it, but that was definitely me being look, I'm doing it. And I was still meeting with these top tier artists, so they would know oh, he was in the studio with Pharrell, or he was hanging out with Diddy, so something is happening, you know what I'm saying? But they just supported it throughout, never, I wasn't even really paying rent, bruh. I was lucky, you know what I'm saying? I was really lucky.
So did you never went and took any formal education as far as classes, trade school, none of that?
Nah, man, I went to college, I dropped out, but my major was graphic design. And that's how I was doing all those, the websites and everything stuff, that. But no, I never took a film class. And to be honest, as you do film, you start to hear everybody else's film school stories, and I'm like, man, I probably should have went to film school, but I feel like I've been able to kind of nurture my own craft and my own aesthetic, just based off of my experiences with the people I've collaborated with, and not having that many resources and having to just figure shit out. That I kind of went to my own film school, you know what I mean? Being with Overdose and just trying shit, and just hoping that it worked, you know what I mean?
When was the moment, because I think we all can relate, us doing the radio show out of my apartment and having very minimum, resources, the equipment and stuff like that. When have you done the absolute most with the absolute least?
Man, that's a good question.
Because you did mention the iMovie thing, which I think was super interesting as far as how you edited.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's
I didn't know that either.
But is there any time where you, put a video together or an experience happened where you were like, man, we literally don't have shit to make this work, and it ended up being something?
I think the Overdose Pasadena video, that video, the crazy thing about that video is that's the second video we shot. Wow. the first video we shot, my hard drive crashed. So we
snap.
lost it.
So you did a whole video.
We did a whole video.
Wow.
I did like I don't know if I accidentally deleted it, but I just like it formatted and like it was gone, bro.
Damn.
And this is before data recovery and all that. So the video that you see now is the second video, and during that whole process, like, you know, we literally would, because we wanted to shoot it at night, so we would like for a whole week we would go out at like 11 o'clock and shoot in the middle of the night and do that for like a week until we got the video. And even with that video, I didn't know how to do visual effects.
I saw it because the bug eyes.
Yeah,
that was like, dude, too.
I didn't know how to do that. So, but I was really good at Photoshop, right? So this is some nerd ghetto shit right here. So instead of using like After Effects or like, you know, like the VFX program, I would literally take the frames from the video, put them in Photoshop, make the eyes big,
Get out of
and
here.
put them back in.
Are you serious?
So it was like each thing is all, you know, frame.
He be shaking his head. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, people who edit are probably like, what?
Yeah, but I couldn't. First of all, I couldn't afford After Effects. I didn't know how to do it. I could, you know what I'm saying. So, but I did know Photoshop.
You figure a way and make
so
it work.
I literally did my effects like, you know, in 2D and then put them back in.
That's crazy.
That's the most with the least.
No, that is definitely the most with the least.
That's some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're not talking about just color coordinating, you know,
Nah.
color correcting. That's a lot to do.
It's like animation pretty much. It's like frame by frame. If you watch the video again, sometimes I got lazy and it just be like a little eye or a regular eye. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, that's crazy.
That all right. Bet. I want to fast forward. Okay. I'm gonna say this, and then I want you to tell me your initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. LeBron James wants to reboot the House Party movie franchise. CALMATIC named director.
Yeah.
Like, did you know what happened? How, like?
Nah, it's crazy because I remember like maybe like 10 years ago now, my dad, diehard Laker fan, it was like Father's Day. He was like, it seemed like LeBron was in Miami or he might have been in Cleveland or whatever. And my dad was like, I'm telling you, man, LeBron coming to the Lakers one day. And I'm like, no, like LeBron ain't about to come to the Lakers. Like he's clearly like winning and we weak right now. Why would he come to the Lakers? And then I remember like, you know, I forget what year it is, 2016, 17, maybe, I don't know. LeBron came to LA.
I think 18.
Yeah, he came to LA and it was like, oh shit, like he's here. You know what I'm saying? And I think right after that, he had like a cover on the Hollywood Reporter that he was starting his film company.
Yep.
And something about that, I remember on my Instagram, I literally tweeted or something like, yo, this is a new day in Los Angeles. Like we really about to like tap in on this film shit. This is before House Party was even a thing. And then they announced that the dudes from Atlanta, Jamal and Steven Glover, Donald Glover's brother, are writing the script for House Party.
Okay.
And I knew them from Overdoz when they worked with Childish Gambino. And I remember DMing the writer like, hey man, I need first dibs on House Party. And I ain't done a movie. I ain't even done half the videos that I'm known for now, but I was like, I need first dibs.
Time out real quick. Was that always the goal to go to do movies, or were you kind of like in the world of, filmmaker, video, like commercial? Was that the realm, or did you have expectations to do that, go to the next level?
I definitely didn't have expectations. To be honest, like, I was kind of fucking around. Like, you know what I mean? You know how you see something crazy, like, I need parts of that. Wow. But
I did that to you.
I was gonna say that, but I was
it
like,
worked. No, I did that.
But yeah, but you just see some shit like,
I need in.
Yeah,
I hit him with the congratulations. I need in.
Dot.
Straight up. So that's why you can respect it, because you did the same shit.
I did the same thing.
And
to be honest, he didn't even respond to me. Like I know him, but he didn't respond to me. I was like, whatever. And then, it's so funny because and I started taking general meetings with different companies because I'm starting to do like bigger commercials. Did the Anderson .Paak bubbling video, which got a lot of eyes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to like, I got an agent now, so I'm taking meetings. And then, I met with Spring Hill, who's producing the movie. And it was just perfect timing because I had just did Old Town Road, you know what I'm saying? Like I got the Super Bowl commercials,
momentum,
you know what I mean? So everything is just like, in my favor to like do this movie. And so, they sent me the script, you know, I flipped it. I figured out like, all right, this is how we gonna make it my movie. Made some adjustments, pitched it back to them like, yo, this is what we should do, blah blah blah, and they was fucking with it, and we made it.
Okay, don't say it like that. Don't say they was fucking with it and we made it. No, that's not what happened. What happened? Like, did you? So it's you, and then you have the producers.
Yeah.
And Spring Hill is the company the company that's producing the film.
Well, there's a studio.
Movie studio,
there's
right.
Warner Brothers, and then there's
right.
a studio under that, which is New Line Cinema, and then LeBron has Spring Hill has a deal with Warner Brothers, and so I'm sure they were like, in this deal, what do you want to do?
Well, the reason why I brought that up is because, not to cut you off, but the reason I brought that up is multiple layers of people that have to be okay with CALMATIC directing this film. They're putting a lot of money up.
For sure.
And a lot of moving pieces and parts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just named 4 or 5 different entities that had to sign off on you doing these films. So don't just say, well, they was fucking with it.
Yeah, but it's a long list. I mean, So I met with Spring Hill and they gave me the okay, and then they had me, like, they supported me as a director. So now they have to pitch me to New Line and then to Warner Brothers, and then, pitch me to Maverick to make sure that he's okay with it. Then to Warner Brothers, then to New Line, and those are all the same pitches, the same meetings. Me going in there, telling them like, yo, this is a LA story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from LA. Like, I've been doing, I'm a part of the culture. Like, I've been documenting the culture for however long. This is how we need to flip this. You know what I'm saying? And they was fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? and we made it. And I think, what I want to do with the movie, because I mean the movie is pretty straightforward, right? It's about 2 homies who promote parties, right? A little hole in the wall, joints or whatever, and that don't pay the bills, so they had to, get a side job as like house cleaners. And so it turns out that one of the houses that they cleaning is like LeBron's house.
Facts.
He's away on vacation. One of their functions got canceled. They didn't have they lost the venue, and so they was like, we got all these people wanting to come to our party. Let's invite them from the hood to the hills. And I feel like people could think like, oh, that's a idea that is far-fetched, but not in LA, bro.
No, that happens.
Part of my pitch was saying that like I don't know what's going on in Nebraska, but they know about what's going on in LA. And LA is one of the only places where you could be in the hood on Western or wherever and look up in the hills and see the Hollywood sign.
Thanks.
Or you could drive 20 minutes and be at LeBron's house. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very unique LA story.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to tell that story with the dynamics, the social dynamics of like dudes from the hood, people, transplants coming to LA trying to live that lifestyle, and just kind of see it all collide at one party. And so that's pretty much what the film is.
Do you think now? Obviously, I don't know this for sure. You can maybe, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I've heard that this is a new story.
Completely new.
Completely new story.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's reimagined.
Yeah.
From the ground up. As we know, the old house parties,
Yeah.
it was, I'm not the old ones, but the original house party was, I think it was 3. It was 1, 2, and 3.
4.
3.
4.
Yeah. It was
the 4th one don't count.
To be honest, it's 5. This is low-key house party 6 that I'm making, but
Word.
it's house party. It's
a house
thing.
party. It's a new thing.
So
yeah. With this one, is it set up to be a saga, or is it?
I mean, who knows? They might make another one, but to me, I tell people like, there should be a house party movie every 10 years anyway.
Right.
Like, there should always be like an update on like, because like to me, house party is like a snapshot of like what the culture is, what the youth hip hop culture is doing at the time. And so, we should have a house party that took place in 2010. Yeah. This is the one for 2020. You know what I'm saying? And like, I want to see house party 10 years from now. Like, it ain't that deep. Like, trust me, I've heard every possible complaint about remaking the classics and all that kind of shit, but it's not that deep. Like, this movie is for this new generation.
Yeah.
It's not for the same folks.
I think it's dope too. Like you said, like, this is a LA story. It's unique to our culture out here.
Yep.
But then there's something that everybody knows about, watching the Kardashians and watching this and watching that.
Yep.
So it is unique. What do you think you learned doing this movie, like as
Bruh.
CALMATIC, because it's your first.
Bruh.
Damn, right?
I told somebody
You bumped your head.
I was like, man, I felt like I was on an episode of Scared Straight Hollywood Edition. Like somebody waking me up from my bed, like, you want to make a movie? Right. like I'm gonna give you a beloved title. Right. You gonna film it in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was times where they were like, we only can have 10 people in the house, and I'm like,
it's house party.
How we gonna film house party with 10 people? You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn how to like complain and fight battles with the studios, and you know my producers helped me like a ton navigate all that stuff. But I learned how to like really like talk to like the right people and get stuff done. And you know making a movie is that shit is hard, bro. It's so hard. It's like it's nowhere near making a music video. You know what I'm saying? And you know, people say like if you finish a film, like it's a miracle. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we shot 40 days, like 20 nights, like in the middle of the pandemic, and you know, we had sometimes we had room full of 100 people, and sometimes we had 200 people. It was crazy, man. So you know, I just learned that it's gonna be hard regardless. Like it's not gonna ever be easy, but it's all about how you plan and how you go with the punches and just kind of adjust on the fly.
Now you mentioned about people being critical of remaking classics. Did you use that as part of the armor to say, nah, like you said, it's reimagined, it's something different? I mean, because not only this one, you got the White Man Can't Jump.
Yep.
So it's like automatically you're gonna have people in your ear that's talking, right? But do you use that as artillery, like to say, nah, I got something for that?
Yeah, and like going back to the music thing, right? Like I'm sampling pieces of House Party, but I'm flipping it and it's a whole new beat. You know what I'm saying? It's but not like a loop or something like that. I'm like really flipping it and chopping it up and like making it a whole new. You can't even hear the sample. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And so it's a whole new story. And like I said, people are gonna be complaining
regardless.
They're gonna compare it.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I've never seen anyone that's like the target demographic complain about it. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. We to talk about White Man Can't Jump. We were filming a scene at like some junior high school, and I guess word got out that Jack was we were filming and Jack was there, and so everybody was from the whole school at lunchtime all came to we were filming, and they were screaming, "We want Jack! We want Jack!" And it was crazy, literally 200 white kids, 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And he went out there and shook their hands, signed autographs, and I was like, that's the demographic. That's who's gonna support this movie and love this movie. It's like they don't care about the original. You know what I'm saying? This is for them. And so that kind of changed my thinking about making something fresh, making something new, and not being a slave to whatever the original was.
I want to talk about, I know White Man Can't Jump is coming out later, but I do want to talk about that. But before we do that, what was your thought process? Because when you hit me, first of all, what was your reasoning or thought process for putting us in the movie?
So yeah, man. All right. So basically, it's a scene in the movie.
Because I didn't question you.
Yeah.
When you hit me, I didn't question you. I'm gonna wait till we film. Right. That shit it's in the movie. All right. Now I'm gonna ask this nigga what we. It's kind of like we just get up and start running. Right. I'll find out while we was running in the car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. Basically, without giving too much away, one of the main characters is a producer.
Gotcha.
And they trying to make it in the industry, so they go from studio to studio trying to make beats, but their beats are abstract and on some
different,
far out Pharrell, you know what I'm saying, type of shit. And so we just want to show what it was like for them to be in the studio with some real niggas and they don't get it and they're not fucking with it. And I was just thinking man, who's super critical about music? And I was like, oh, head for sure. And I was like, man, it should just be home, it should be homegrown. We should put them in the studio and let them judge the beat. You know what I'm saying? And y'all did a good job, man. Y'all killed it, man.
Without putting too much in, we walked in, was like, yo, this is literally the apartment on Lamoli.
This shit, bro. Crazy. I don't know who did set design or why, or I don't know what happened. Or who idea was when me and him was really tripping. I know you was doing your thing on set and you was directing the movie, But me and him was like, nigga, this is homegrown. In his
It
apartment. This is like
from one way to the other way.
That shit was wild, bro.
Yeah, that's like it's like I don't even know. I probably was referencing y'all studio without even knowing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just this is how it should be. I didn't seen so many studios like that. You know what I mean? And it's funny because like without giving too much away, fuck it at this point, like, you know, that studio was supposed to be like in the back of a cell phone shop. And it's funny because Kent, when I first met Kent, he used to work at T-Mobile.
Crazy.
But the back room, he used to make beats and like record music in the back room at T-Mobile.
But see, what I love about that's another nod to
exactly.
That know,
and that's that's a sample. Like I'm sampling, like, oh, I remember that back in the day. That's funny that he used to be in the back of a cell phone shop, like making beats and singing. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where we flipped it.
Do you get people? This is super random, but speaking of stuff like that, do you ever have people that hit you up like, "Oh, that's my story," or you use the part of my likeness or whatever, and hit you with controversy like that?
Nah. I mean, because I'm not like taking people's identity. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, I think the things that I like to pull from are just like the broad strokes of just like living life where we from, and just like, you know, the things that are all familiar to us that we can be like, you know, oh, I know what that color palette reminds me of, like Western. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of what I go for versus like that particular store on Western with that, you know what I mean? That thing. So, but yeah, man, it's all fun for me to be able to like play with those references on like such a big level. It's just, you know, it's a dream come true.
Did you know that you got White Men Can't Jump before you rapped House Party?
Yes. Because what happened was I got House Party. We were about to start in 2020, but then the pandemic happened. So then during the pandemic, we were trying to figure out what was going to happen with House Party. White Man Can't Jump came. And then they were ready to go, like, let's shoot now. But then at the last minute, House Party came in, was like, no, we want to shoot. And so I did House Party first, knowing that I was going to do White Man Can't Jump, you know, almost a year later.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
To know you got another job is like, bet.
Yeah. Another remake, you know what I'm saying? After this, I'm not doing no more remakes.
Nah, don't be that. Listen, Will Smith was the alien guy for 3-4 years straight, bro.
So you say that if another deal comes on the table and it's a remake,
It depends, man. Like, I'm down to do like a franchise. Like, I'm down to do like, you know, the next Creed or like, you know, Black Panther or something like that. But I'm not trying to remake The Wash or like Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like.
So you wouldn't direct the next Friday?
I was about to say, if Friday comes on the table.
If Ice Cube call you like CALMATIC.
Well, see, that's the next. It's the next Friday. It's not
Friday after next.
It's not. I'm saying, but it's not a Friday remake.
Oh, a remake.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it's the word remake that I'm like allergic to right now. But you know, like, I'll never say never. But you know, it's just not. It's not that fun to like create, knowing that you have a reference, you know, somewhere.
You want a blank canvas.
Yeah, blank canvas. And I got so many original ideas that, you know, I think I got my feet wet with these two films, and like now I'm ready to like really tap into like the world and like the imagination that I have to like create some unique shit that can, you know.
So what's on the bucket list right now? You know, you already got the Grammy. You've done some amazing shit. You're tapping into the film world now. Is there anything as of right now that's on your bucket list, or is it as you kind of progress and go, you're gonna, you know, kind of shake those in after that?
Yeah, like I said before, like I feel like I'm not just like a diehard filmmaker. Like I'm a producer / artist that just so happened to be making film right now.
So a new CALMATIC album is coming soon.
Oh shit!
You heard it here first. Verse, you know what I'm saying?
No, we don't want that.
Hey, CALMATIC,
we don't want that from you. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want that.
No, but
I don't want you to put an album out.
No, I'm not putting the album out. But there's other sides of my artistry that I want to explore just as much as I explore my film side. But you know, I look at people like Spike Jonze, who, you know, owns Vice, you know what I mean? And can randomly just do a skate video right now and like put out a clothing line, do an art show. Gotcha. I just want to, you know, make sure that I'm not like limiting myself to this one thing, you know. But they do say like film is like the sum of all arts, right? It's visual, sound,
I feel that.
movement, you know what I mean? It's all the arts in one. And so I'm able to, you know, I'm lucky enough to like be able to just try stuff there on the film side, but I kind of want to be a little bit more specific and like dive into different, you know, mediums.
Well, you mentioned the difference between films and music videos. What's the difference between like commercials and music videos?
Man, I mean, I think commercials, the difference is like everything is dialed in before you go on set.
Okay.
Like every single thing. Like you know what the lines are, you know what the shots are, you know what the angles are, like the lighting, everything gets approved by the client, so to speak.
Okay.
And then you go in and execute. You know, I think music videos, you kind of just, you got a general idea and you just kind of let them perform and figure it out in the edit. And film is the same way too, where it's like you have a script, but sometimes they might go off script and like do something else. But like with commercials, like
that ain't it.
That's like we didn't pay for that line,
right?
You know what I mean? So you have to say this.
And you mentioned it very, very brief. He was like, yeah, you know, Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Super Bowl.
Yeah, you blow past your accomplishments. Like, that's crazy.
Super Bowl, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That ain't no small thing, bro. I don't. Do you realize like how dope that is, or is it kind of just living in the moment? Like, how do you kind of process all that, or is it so kind of far past now where it's like I've already kind of accepted that, I appreciate it? Like, what are your thoughts when these huge accomplishments come your way?
Man, it's interesting. Like, to be honest, like I don't really know how to answer that question. Like, it's just happening. You know, it's regular. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's regular.
But like
shit ain't regular, bro. What you talking about?
But
that's not regular.
But I think what I realized like throughout this whole process is like kind of going back to that Kendrick thing, right? Is like he didn't change much, right? And I think I haven't changed much either. Like when I do my Super Bowl commercials or whatever, I'm approaching it the same way I approach the Overdoz videos. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, but I'm just, I guess, a bigger audience is there, or I have like more tools to play with. But that's how I look at it. When I did the commercial with LeBron for the Super Bowl, like we had to recreate a bedroom from 2003.
Fire. Yeah.
I graduated 2005. Yeah. I know exactly what that bedroom looked like. You know what I'm saying? I know the posters, the slim, you know, everything. So like, you know, me and the production designer, we had a field day. Like let's just make this shit like how we used to have it back in the day.
I always want to know this about movies. When you say recreate the bedroom, right? Like a slam poster with, let's say, Shaquille O'Neal on it or something, right? Yeah. Does that exist somewhere? You got to go have somebody make it?
It depends. Like there's some people that like, you could source that stuff on like eBay or something like that. But it's hard to get that stuff cleared. Like you can't just like put a poster of Shaq in the room. You got to get permission from the photographer, from the magazine.
Oh, shit.
And some stuff is like, what they call it, like, is it, I don't know. I don't even want to get that shit wrong. But it's on like Getty Images and you can just buy the image and put a fake magazine name on it or something like that. But it depends, man. I think for that commercial, we actually did find a dude on eBay that was selling a bunch of his slam magazines. And so we just bought all of them and was just, you know, ripping the pages out. It kind of broke my heart. We were just ripping them out. God. Ripping them out, throwing them on the wall, putting glue on them, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we had to make it authentic, so, you know.
Have you kept anything from videos or movies that like, let me get that?
Yeah, I got, I definitely got a bunch of stuff, but I think the biggest thing I have is when I did the Vince Staples video for what's it so called? So What, when he was fighting in the barbershop and he like broke the window.
Yeah.
Like we have like that window was a fake window. So I have like the barbershop window that says Catching All Fades Barbershop. Like it's probably as big as this in my garage. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you care about memorabilia and stuff like that?
I do. It's interesting. Like I care about memorabilia for other stuff, not my stuff. I mean, I definitely care about my stuff, but not as much as I care about other. You know, I collect a lot of just like artifacts and like vintage.
What's the most random artifact or collectible you have?
Bro, I got the most random shit.
Give me I got one or two
like,
of
it's so random, right?
One or two.
Bro, so I have so you know those stress relieving like balls that people have?
Yeah,
like when you squeeze it.
Yeah.
It's like a square, a stress relieving square.
Hey, do you, bro?
I have the music video channel. I have that in in the form of a stress relieving ball.
Wait, how do you? Okay.
It was like some marketing shit they probably had back in the day.
Back in
and it's like the box. You know what I'm saying? That shit is like on my desk.
Okay.
I could probably.
That's fire, though,
I could probably top that, bro. I got some weird shit.
Give me another. Okay.
Damn, what else I got, man? Bro, I I got like a
Yeah, that one.
I got like a sugar-free money clip that was like part of his like promo back in the day. It was just it's like a money clip, but it says sugar-free on it.
Here.
But it was like, you know, something that he used.
So okay, so you don't care about like your stuff. You like other shit that other
yeah. I mean, it's kind of goes back like to the LA thing. Like I just love LA. I love the history of it. Like I love the way it feels, and I think like, you know, I don't live in the past, but I love referencing the past and like finding ways to like flip it and like bring it to the now. You know what I'm saying? So that's, you know, I love. I mean, this T-shirt is like from the LA riots. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how you know.
So get down.
Yeah, it's my get down, man.
I want to ask you some random questions.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of them, and you just tell me your thought.
Okay? All right.
So if you had to remake a classic Disney film, which one would you do?
Damn, that's a good question. Classic Disney film. I would do like the live action version of Princess and the Frog. That's probably what I would do. Like
because it's black people.
Yeah, because it's black people. Yeah, but it's also like it's a dope story, and I feel like, you know, to see that like in a real way, it'd probably be even crazier. You go crazy with the music. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of elements to that I think like I could, you know, help out with. So
he said help out with.
Yeah.
Okay, you get to direct the next what is it? A sequel, right? So you love LA, and I always tell people 2 movies that depict LA from the 90s, right? You got Boys in the Hood and you got Menace to Society. Menace to Society depicts life what I would call on the east side.
Yes.
Boys in the Hood shows life on the west side.
Yep.
Which sequel would you make?
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. And not that like I'm definitely more west side than east side.
I get it.
But I felt like, I mean, both movies definitely offered like a lot of like depth when it comes to like, you know, the socio-political like, you know, situations that was going on, but just something about the west side and like knowing where they filmed in Crenshaw and John Singleton. And, you know, it's funny because some of the crew from some of the movies I worked on recently, they were on Boys in the Hood, you know, and they were telling me like stories about, you know, how John used to like run auditions out of Lamert Park. Wow. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
that's crazy.
Those kind of stories are like, you know, the stuff that like, you know, that just kind of keeps me motivated to kind of keep creating.
Did you ever meet John?
Yeah. So, shout out to Paul Stewart. Paul Stewart connected me with John during the pilot of Snowfall. So for the pilot of Snowfall, I was with John, like shadowing him, you know, the whole time. So, you know, that was.
See, he just blew past that. Yeah.
That was dope though, just to see like, you know, them being in LA and like, you know, like literally filming around the corner from where I live, like. Yeah. And it was dope to see like what it became, you know, after all these years.
Was there anything that any conversations that you remember, or anything like a gem or a nugget that he gave you, or something that you picked up on? Maybe something he didn't tell you, but something that you picked up on from him with that time of you kind of shadowing him.
Man, it was it's funny because I actually, you know, speaking of stuff I collect, I got one of them like South Central Cinema hats, right? And I remember like I showed him a picture of it on my phone, and he looked at me like, nigga, like, how did you, like, I don't even have one of those, you know what I'm saying? But I remember on set, you know, it was a scene where it was like a function, like a house party.
During Snowfall, yeah.
Okay. It was a function, and like, it was a bunch of like girls dancing with dudes, you know, backing it up, freaking, whatever. And John was just like standing up, dancing, like, yeah, like get that shit, you know what I'm saying? And it was like some real nigga shit, like this how like it reminded me like you can direct that way. You don't have to just be like sitting back and like, you know, and talking about film in a sophisticated way. You can just be like, yo, like do it. You know what I'm saying? And like that kind of gave me that spark to just be more of myself on set and not try to do what, you know, directors are supposed to do. Right. Look through the thingy, you know what I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff. So
What I could cover two more questions is you've worked with Usher, Kendrick, Lil Nas X, Jack Harlow, shout out to Sinquad, all these different people. Who's the easiest to work with and who's the most difficult to work with on the spectrum? Like, it don't have to be like in a negative way. It could just be like, oh, they are perfectionists. It could be whatever. But easiest to work with, most difficult.
I'm not even trying to be politically correct, but I really don't know who's the most difficult. Like, And if it is somebody, it ain't worth naming. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But like all the top artists that I worked with, they're all great. But the easiest person to work with, aside from Overdose was like pretty easy.
That was early on.
Yeah, but Anderson .Paak, just so easy.
Really?
Like, yeah, bro. Like when he's on set, like everything he do, you can use it in the video. Like he don't fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll
Gotcha.
perform and do some weird shit, but it work. You know what I mean? Or he'll just give you that like perfect, smile at the camera, spin move, do this. You know what I mean? He's just like a flawless performer. When I was editing his videos, like it was like I was in the candy shop. I was like, I could use that. I could use that. It's just all about like what felt the best, but he's just and he doesn't question anything. You know what I mean? He
Takes direction.
yeah, takes direction well. Like loves he's directing videos now. You know what I'm saying? He loves being in front of the camera and like he loves going through the process and yeah, he's just fun to work with. Like he's just a professional, bro.
We all have our specific relationships with Nip, and I'm interested to hear yours. Like, what was it like to work with Nip, kind of see him early on, document him
Yeah.
from your perspective?
Man, it's funny, like, cause I don't live there now. I moved, but I used to live on like Slauson and Overhill, and so just growing up over there and just like driving down Slauson every day just to kind of like see what Nipsey was up to, right? It's like when you pass the store, you looking like
Something's going
like
on.
what car he got now?
Yeah.
Oh, he got a Benz. Oh shit, he got a oh damn, he got you know what I'm saying? It's like it was almost like you could just kind of check on his progress like on a daily basis
Right.
for like motivation, you know what I mean? And when I first got my camera, that's what I was doing like alongside the videos. I would go to like these different locations to just document it. And one time I pulled up to the Marathon store. Before that, it was Slauson Tees. And just, I pulled up with my camera, asked to film, and he gave me a tour of the shop. And, just kind of, he was asking me about the camera. Like, I told him I just got it. And he was like, yeah, well, keep working at it. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your shit. And, it's just, he's just a motivation. Like, being at Simply Wholesome and seeing, like, the Maybach pulled up in the front. It's like, I want to do that one day. You know what I'm saying? It's only two people that's, like, celebrities at Simply Wholesome. It's Stevie Wonder and Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? And so like that's just and just to know that he's right there. And my dad used to buy incense from him back in the day.
Janae will be in there.
Oh yeah, she be over there. Yeah.
You said your dad used to buy incense from him?
Yeah, he used to buy incense from him. Like So I remember vividly like pulling up like in a little island on Slauson and like him selling my dad incense. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like in the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, I mean it's whack, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think the legacy that he left is like still, it's like growing day by day.
Absolutely.
It's so many, even thinking about like people like Six Sev, like Six Sev, like his clothes are all throughout house party. Somebody like Watts Homie Quan, like I feel like those are all people that took that entrepreneurship spirit and kind of created their own lane. And like I definitely grabbed a lot of them and put them in this film. So we got Watts Homie Quan in the movie. Shit, who else? We got Desto Dub in the movie. You know what I'm saying? He used to tat Nipsey. You know what I'm saying? We got Homegrown in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a lot of little LA nuggets in the film for those who know. But like I said, it's not that I'm just picking y'all because I know y'all.
Right.
It's like y'all the top DJs, radio personalities in the nation, bruh. And y'all right here. So it's like, why not?
Bro.
Why not pick y'all?
I mean, but you there, bro. You not we not where you at. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. You ain't doing no Super Bowl shit.
No, but in all fairness, you know what? I'm gonna touch on this too. In all fairness, though, you have to be reminded of your shit too. Because me and you had a conversation. I had to go in on you like, nigga, you one of them ones, fool. Like, have you stepped into that? I don't want to like go over the whole conversation, but have you like, all right, I'm ready to be who I'm supposed to be, or like, have you had internal conversations with yourself, or?
Yeah, and I think like, obviously it is a big deal, but I don't know if it's like a Jedi mind trick, but I've tricked myself to tell myself that it is a big deal, but it's all the same thing, right? I'm still doing the same thing. At the end of the day, y'all doing the same thing. Y'all just talking on the radio, but now more people are listening. And so I think if I approach it that way, where I'm just like, yo, this is still Chuck at the crib, making videos, coming up with cool ideas, and it doesn't feel like I'm doing something that's beyond, and I want to keep it that way.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to think like, oh shit, this is about to be in theaters across the nation, and I'm working on these budgets that's like $50, $60 million. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like to think about that because I feel like once you get into that part of it, then you just become jaded and like in a different way that's like that's not productive and not fulfilling, as an artist.
Okay, this is the last thing we can rag about. But James Cameron, I really fuck with this white man, right?
Yeah.
Classic movie director, Terminator, Avatar, Titanic, big over the top movies.
Yeah.
But James Cameron's also known for going over budget, right?
Yeah.
So he ends up putting a lot of his own money in the movies. He already laughed.
Hell no.
Hell.
Yeah.
Have you gotten there yet?
Nah.
Okay. Do you ever see yourself getting there to the point where the movie $3 million over budget and you got it? You like, nigga, I need to.
Nah, it depends on what
He's like, he uncomfortable.
Nah, it depends on what the story is, right? Like I said, like, I really want to start to tell these stories that are my personal stories. Like I got a bunch of scripts about my family and about different things that I've been through. And I think if those films are like in that position where I need money,
you putting it up,
or I need support, you know what I'm saying? Then like I'm gonna do a GoFundMe first,
there we go.
and then I'm gonna hit up DJ Head and Chuck Dizzle.
Bruh, I ain't got nothing.
You know
I'm
what I'm
unemployed.
Hey, man, hey, look. Hey, we're not gonna get. Hey, look. I saw what you drove up in. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I saw what you drove up in too. Speaking of legacy, what do you want your legacy to be? Like when it's all said and done, like, out the box, like when they mention CALMATIC, and even to this day and in the future, what do you want them to be synonymous with your name?
Even though I talk about LA a lot, obviously I love LA. Like I don't want to be like, oh, I'm the LA director. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not my goal. But I do know that LA is filled with so many reference points of stories and ideas and textures that I want to be able to apply what I've learned from LA and find other places to tell that story, or use tools from LA that help other people tell their stories. But I mean, I think my legacy, like I just want to be known as someone who did everything. Like I know that's probably vague, and you know what I'm saying, but I don't want to be limited to just one thing. Right. Like I'm not just a producer. I rap too. I make websites. I do this.
Told
you
you
know
what
what I'm saying?
Like coming out in 2023.
We don't want the CALMATIC album.
White man can't jump. You getting the CALMATIC album?
I just want to do everything and not limit myself. Like when I look, like, because there's so many things that I'm like that I just haven't done, and I'm just like, man, I could do that.
Like what?
A clothing line, or just put out a T-shirt that say CALMATIC on it. You know what I mean? I could probably make some money doing that. You know what I'm saying? But I just haven't done it because I'm so focused on this thing. And then when you get so focused on this thing and you see other people doing their thing, you kind of start to be a hater a little bit. Like, oh, that, they can't really rap like that. They ain't got bars like me. They don't know I can rap. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm tired of like living in that world, and I just want to just open myself up to do, as many things as possible.
Okay, real quick. Is there a treatment that you've written to a song that's out now that they didn't use?
Hell yeah.
What's a song that you wrote a treatment to that's out right now? And is your treatment better than the video we saw?
Oh, you mean to a video that came out?
Yeah.
Damn, I wrote a lot of treatments for a lot of different people. I mean, I think my biggest treatment, I'm not even gonna tell you the treatment, but I wrote a treatment for Jay-Z. It was a song with him and it was off the 444 album. And they was really fucking with it. Like they really wanted to do it, and then like just something didn't happen. But it was like you thought Old Town, you thought Entrepreneur was LA. Like it was just like tapped into a whole different like level. Like I'm still saving that treatment. It's funny because even that treatment wasn't originally for that song. I wrote it for another thing, but I was like, I'm saving that shit because I know when the right song come, like that's for sure VMAs. That's for sure,
So why not, speaking in the creative, expressing yourself, why not just say, man, I'm gonna just put it out? Is that not the formal way to do it?
Like, I mean, I think at this point, like, I guess they call that spec work, right? Where like you just do like a commercial for Nike on your own and like hope that Nike sees it. But I think once you
hit a certain
kind of
level.
get to a certain level. Like it's kind of corny.
But
you know
said
what I'm saying?
you said you try not to.
I'm trying to stay in the laptop.
You said
watching my dad walk by the window. I'm trying.
I mean, back then I would have done that, but like
Nah,
now I'm like, no, I'm.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not, cutting the check.
And also it's possible that I could still do it. You know what I mean? It's not over yet. Like as soon as that next Jay-Z album drop, I'm trying to listen to every song. Like, did that treatment work for this? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I approach it. So, and it's funny, that treatment is like, I'm like, man, at this point it might be a movie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like thinking about how I can turn it into a script and try to, pitch it to somebody.
Okay. Last thing that I kind of want to get into, man, you as a family, man, you've gotten married, you got a kid, you know what I'm saying? How is life changed for you as a father, and what dad advice could you give to other fathers out there?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, I'm learning every day, man. My son just turned 3, man, and he's just like,
he talk a lot.
Oh, he talks so much, but in a good way. He's well spoken. Like he knows his feelings. Like he'll come to me and say, "I'm frustrated," and I'm just like, damn, like I feel you. Like I'm frustrated too. Yeah. And my wife does a good job of like teaching him and like getting him right. And so, it's funny. I just bought some turntables, or I got some turntables for Christmas.
Fire.
About the DJ, you know what I'm saying?
Look,
I already know. But and I've been trying to like figure out the whole DJ thing, just like playing around. And my wife sent me a video today. Like my son, he got like this little toy laptop, and he put his little toy laptop above the mixer, and he DJing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And and I think
kids watch everything.
Exactly. They're like sponges, dog. And like it's funny. My son, he don't say bye. He says peace. You know what I'm saying? And like at first, I was thinking like maybe I don't need to be so like brash with my language. As long as I'm not cussing, but it's cool that my son says peace. You know what I'm saying? That's what I say. And so I think like you said, like kids are sponges, and they're gonna pick up on everything that you do, but just make that stuff that they pick up like cool. You know what I'm saying? And not toxic. You know what I'm saying? He ain't out here cussing. Yeah. I mean, he might every now and then say, you know what I'm saying?
A little one off.
Yeah, but he's very polite, and that's because I'm polite. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the only advice I could give at this point.
I like to curse in front of kids.
My son's first cuss word was because of him.
That's cool.
I like to curse in front of kids because it's just they gonna curse anyway.
They gonna curse anyway, man. Yeah.
You know who curse more than us? Fifth graders. Fifth graders curse more than us.
I got a funny story about that. I remember one time I was at school and I was on the playground. And I was like talking to my homie like, yeah, man, fuck this shit. Like, elementary, how you cuss in elementary. You just say every word. This shit's stupid. And I remember I turned around. My mom was just staring at me on the field. She had came to like give me some like lunch or some McDonald's, and she saw me cussing the whole time, man. I was just like, oh, no.
She was getting the ball.
I'm going to tell you something crazier. I recorded my own self by accident. That's how I got caught. I was playing in my mom's room and hit the recorder button on the answering machine and recorded. It's 6 minutes of hot shit.
Wait, what was you waiting?
I was saying every word.
What was you saying?
Everything. All of it. Just for whatever. I was going up. Fuck this. Shit. Everything. I was let everything. Every word you could think, I was letting it fly.
You gotta find that tape, man.
Man, hell no. I got towed up.
Yeah, man.
CPS didn't come do nothing. This do shit. Where was the white people then? You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
CALMATIC, man, it's been a treat, man. We've been waiting for a minute to make this happen, and I'm glad we did it around this time. You got so much going on, and this is just the beginning. I like to say, man, there's so much more you got going on for yourself, and man.
And after you remake The Wash
and Friday,
then you come back on the show and we talk about that, and we talk about White Men Can't Jump too.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate y'all, man. This is dope, man.
It's homegrown, man. Chuck Dizzle, DJ Head. It's the CALMATIC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.